What's up, everyone? You miss me? Yeah, I got a strike by YouTube for something. I have no idea what I did. It said I posted something that was copyrighted or something like that, and I only post stuff where it says, copyright okay, and stuff like that. It has like a green check mark, and I mean, but still, one strike and you get a week suspended a week, and the next strike would be 2 weeks. I mean, jeez, oh Pete's, man. For our school system to solve bullying like this, 1 strike, suspended from school for a week. 2 strikes, suspended from school for 2 weeks. Hate bullying. But seriously, I don't know what I did. I appealed, was denied. I'm afraid of what to post now, what to review and what not to review. Anyways, hope everyone has been doing good, staying safe, depending on where you live. It's hot here. Staying cool, just hanging in there. Let's get right back into it, and we got another true crime video. An arson to cover up a homicide, to cover up a kidnapping. Okay, let's get into it. Fire department responds to a call about a trailer home engulfed in flames.
When I arrived on scene, there was a fair amount of damage. It appeared that there may have been some type of a vapor explosion, pressure built up inside when gasoline was ignited that pushed the glass out from the frame. There was a bedroom that had some fire damage, and in that area was where there was a red plastic gasoline container that seemed extremely out of place. Some of these things just didn't seem normal for a regular fire.
Yeah.
Once we looked inside, we found out that there was a body of a female, and there was a mattress on top of her. After removing some debris, it was noticed that her hands were in fact bound with what appeared to be duct tape.
I turned it into a homicide investigation.
I hope whoever the victim was dead before the fire was started.
At that point, in belief that someone was trying to cover something up by setting the place on fire. Our victim at the scene was Melissa Norby.
Melissa's cousin had called me that morning and said, please tell me it's not true. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she goes, Melissa's house is on fire. And I'm like, what? My daughter is over there.
An officer contacted me and said that there was a female at the barricades that said her daughter had spent the night with Melissa. So I went out. I saw Amanda.
Not the little girl, too.
We searched through again.
Investigators looked.
We were confident there was no other human remains in the fire.
I went from a homicide investigation to now we had an active missing child case.
This girl's been missing since roughly 3 o'clock in the morning. We're worried that time is not on our side.
So someone, whoever did this, wanted the little girl and killed the aunt.
Melissa's cousin was interviewed by agents regarding Melissa.
Or whoever the relation was to the little girl's mom.
His relationships with other males. her cousin told the agents that she was aware that Melissa had been seeing a male recently from the Bemidji area. Melissa referred to him as Jake. She was also able to provide that this individual also owned a food truck.
We called the city clerk looking for our food truck licensees, and she told us Jake's Eats is owned by Jacob Ken. We all knew his name.
Jacob Ken had child pornography convictions. He had tried to purchase a young girl online for photographing purposes.
Based on his past.
Why not have it all?
Because some people can't have it all.
His history, based on his relationship with Melissa, Jacob Ken was likely our guy. The first thing we do, we reach out to the cell phone company and begin to get locations for Jacob's cell phone.
Yeah, did you hear about the fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do know that they actually.
And what's her name?
Melissa Nardi. If that's right.
When's the last time that you've seen her?
Like 6 or 8 months ago.
Oh, so it's been a long time.
Yeah.
He didn't know that Melissa had talked to her
That's him. Where's the little girl?
cousin about Jacob being back in her life, so he probably thought that we weren't aware of that information.
You know, there's a fire. You know, there was a body found. We don't know what happened. Okay, where did you just come from?
Well, I was fishing up north.
Fishing.
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake.
He told us that he had been fishing by North Home, Minnesota, but his actual location was near Big Fork, Minnesota, and those two locations were approximately 30 miles apart, so we knew that was likely alive.
This Melissa, did you ever have sex with her? Never? Even years ago? No. Do you have any way to get hold of her? Or? No. Did she ever want to have sex with you? Did she tell you that?
She texted flirty stuff, but.
And when was the last time that you had a text?
Where's the little girl, though?
Like, it's true.
He's already told us some stuff that contradicts what he told us before. I didn't have a way to get a hold of her, but she's flirty in her text messages.
Jake, we got reports that you had a relationship with Melissa.
There was never actually a relationship.
Um,
This is what I already said.
But you said you never had sex with her.
Basically, Jake, your cell phone doesn't put you in that spot for me.
When Jacob Kennedy showed up at the sheriff's department, we observed right away that his boots were wet, his pants were wet. We walked outside and took a look at his vehicle and saw flower material and weeds. So it looked like he'd been driving off of the road.
Jacob parked right in front of the law enforcement center. His vehicle looked like it had been driving out in a field, certainly not to a resort to go fishing like he said he was.
This gas can, have you seen this before?
Look familiar?
Looks familiar. I own a few gas cans.
You own one like that?
I own one like it, and it's at my house. That gas can was found at the arson site.
Okay.
He probably thought the gas can went up in the fire and was surprised that there was actually a gas stand fully intact.
Why would you
still at
leave
the
evidence?
fire scene.
The entire focus of our evening is this little girl.
Yeah. I didn't do anything to the little girl. I haven't seen the little girl. I haven't seen Melissa in a long time. I haven't done anything.
Part of the problem with the data that we got from the cell phone was it landed out in the middle of a very rural area in Big Fork.
We took the latitude and longitude coordinates provided by the Verizon telephone company. We were able to map those coordinates, and I put the cell phone as to possibly being 5.2 miles northeast of the cell phone tower in Big Fork, Minnesota.
We found a property listed to a relative, but Jacob, that was right in alignment with where that phone ping
Please
showed
let
up
that
at.
little girl be alive.
We were looking for any spots where a vehicle might have pulled off or turned around.
It had rained the night before, and as we're driving up to the intersection of Township Road 288, which is a dirt road, heading west off of the paved 2-lane road that we were driving on, we could see a set of vehicle tracks. To us, it looked like the tire tracks were very similar to Jacob Kinn's tracks on his Jeep that we had looked at previously. We got to the west end of the township road and saw that the tire tracks had come out of a field road that also proceeded west and down a hill and into a low area.
A field.
We parked the squad and proceeded on foot.
The grass was about knee high. We followed the tracks. It was probably at least a half-mile walk. I was afraid we were going to find a little girl's body somewhere along that trail.
Swamp.
As we got up over the rise on the top of the field, we could see a pickup camper tucked back into the woods. The tracks pulled right up to the south side of the camper.
I walked up to the camper.
Please still be alive.
And the door was tied tight with a big wad of electrical tape. I was nervous and I opened up the camper door.
Oh, he's trying not to cry.
I didn't know what we were going to find.
Please.
Hi, what did you say your name was again? I'm going to take a little video.
Oh, it's an actual video.
How'd you get here?
You ever have that moment in the mirror where you're staring back at yourself and you start wondering,
Oh, shut up, Colin.
Don was right next to me. Turn on your cell phone, he said. We didn't have body cameras and stuff at the time.
She's still alive.
Okay, you don't have to be scared, okay? We're the police. I saw a little girl sitting on a bed. Looked like she just woke up.
My name's Rob and this is Don. How old are you?
Probably 5 or something.
Finding that little girl alive, I don't know if words can describe it.
6:15 a.m.
What did he do?
When I got the call.
What did he do to her?
He said, we have her. I said, alive? He said, alive.
what went through your mind at that moment?
That was fantastic. Never would have believed.
Do you remember what Missy's friend looked like? What kind of car does he have?
Right? And it has a name on it.
She told us all these little bits of describing information that described Jacob Kinn to us.
What does he look like?
He has a beard.
You go there for her or for Melissa?
It was for Melissa, but it was...
Did you know that she was going to be there?
Yeah.
As investigators got through Jacob Kinn's phone and Melissa Norby's phone, there was information that they had planned this together, that Jacob would have a relationship with her if she gave him access to a child.
Melissa being involved to the extent that it was a shock to everyone.
One year after Melissa Norby's murder, Jacob Kinn takes a plea deal with second-degree murder without intent, kidnapping, and sexual conduct. He is sentenced to 52 years behind bars. Oh my gosh, but this family member, Melissa, who he murdered, was in on this. Like, we can be together if you give me a little girl, because he's he's a pedophile. Well, I don't feel bad for him killing her now. And Melissa, she was in on this. Peace, everyone. Jeez.